Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. If you are just tuning in, we've broken down the NBA playoffs. We've broken down the big moves by the Lions, securing two of the centerpieces for their future for 4 more years in record-setting deals. And we've talked about the Reggie Bush Heisman reinstation that by the NCAA. In our fourth and final segment here, we're going to break down the most wild playoffs in major American sports, the NHL playoffs. Most of these series have played 2 games. In fact, all but 2 of them have. They'll both be playing tonight. The Stars and the Golden Knights and the Kings and the Oilers play Game 2, as well as our first Game 3 taking place tonight as well between the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. It's been as good as advertised, the playoffs. You have some series that are seemingly over. You have some really fun competitive matchups, and so much more. We'll take a look at. We'll start right at the top. Florida Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the greatest saves that I've ever seen. The Florida Panthers are up 2-0 against the Lightning, and the Lightning just aren't the same team. We're seeing the end of a dynasty, the end of a run, much like we saw in basketball with the decline of the Golden State Warriors. Tampa's in a very similar state, coming from the highest of highs, winning 2 in a row, to being now the end of their dynasty. They still are a very solid team. They went to overtime in the last game, but Sergei Bobrovsky, the goalie for the Florida Panthers, does his thing in the playoffs. He turns into a different animal. If you have not seen this save, I need you to go and look this up on your own. I can't play it here for copyright reasons, but he gets turned around, and one of the cardinal rules of goaltending in hockey is don't turn your back to the shooters. He goes and turns his back fully to the shooter, sticks his arm out, just randomly trying to stop this shot, and he makes one of the greatest saves I have ever seen. You need to go and just look up Sergei Bobrovsky's save. It should be the first one. It was pretty, and playoff hockey is like that all the time. Boston and Toronto are meeting for the bajillionth time in the last bajillion years, and it's as chippy as ever. It's a true rivalry over there. It goes back to Boston. It goes back to Toronto for the first time tonight. There's the first Game 3 that's going on. Series is tied at 1. Boston dominated the first game. Toronto and Austin Matthews were able to claw out a tough victory. In the second game, they play head-to-head tonight to take a 2-1 series lead in a series that always has its ups and downs. The first series that I think is just done and over with, and maybe just the only series that's done and over with, is the Rangers and the Capitals. The Rangers just thoroughly dominating the Capitals. The Capitals can't stop the Rangers on offense, and their offense isn't getting them push their need. The power play is not very effective. Shesterkin has been a brick wall. They are getting a couple things past him, but the Rangers just look like the better team. They're up 2-0 on the Capitals, and it doesn't look like the Capitals really stand much of a chance. And finishing off the Eastern Conference, Carolina and the Islanders. Carolina has won. They've put up 5 goals in both of the first 2 games, but the second game of the series, we saw some heartbreak. We saw a historic comeback. Carolina was down 3-0 in the first period. They cut it to 3-1 in the second, and then they score 4 goals. They score 4 goals in the third. The game's tying and go ahead goal, the third and fourth goal for the the Carolina Hurricanes, happened 9 seconds apart. So in 9 seconds, the Islanders went from leading with 2 minutes to trailing. Heartbreaking loss for the New York Islanders. Spirit is being broken over there. They head back to New York for the first time, coming up in Game 3, but they also seem like a broken team. The Islanders are at least putting up a fight, though, as opposed to the Capitals. My favorite series is between the defending Stanley Cup champions, Vegas Golden Knight, and the Dallas Stars. A super chippy, physical game. Lots of shoving. It was super high scoring in the last one. The Vegas Golden Knights pulled the first game out, and Game 2 is tonight. So if you have some free time tonight and you'd like to try some hockey, that's the series I recommend you watch. It's on at 9:30 on ESPN, so it's easy to get to. But that's the game. That's the series that I recommend turning on. Both of these teams are incredibly deep. Vegas uses a little trick, putting players on long-term IR to basically void their salary for the season and then bringing them back in the playoffs when it doesn't matter. Plenty of teams have used this. Boston has used it. Tampa Bay has used it. So this isn't like a new thing that they're doing, but it is something that they are doing and they have been doing for quite some time. Looking around the rest of the league here, uh, the other game too between the Kings and the Oilers and the Kings, they put up like 7 goals against each other in the last game. It was incredibly high scoring. Connor McDavid is going to, do his thing. He has 132 points on the season. He's very good at hockey. He's probably the best hockey player on the planet. The Kings, we'll see. It's only been 1 game, but they don't seem to stand that much of a chance. Again, if you want high scoring, that's a good one to watch, and that'll also be on tonight. So if you wanted to get a little taste of hockey, take a quick break from basketball, maybe switch between the channels, I highly recommend turning on the Golden Knights Stars game and taking a look at what the hockey playoffs have to offer. Um, the last 2 series that I wanted to go over real quick, Winnipeg and Colorado has been a dogfight. It really has been. The first game was 7-6, which is not what we were expecting at all. The Avalanche come out and dominate the second period in Game 2, going up winning 5-2, 4 goals in the second. Really put them away. I don't know what's going on with Connor Hellebuck and their goaltending, but I do think that the Jets can bounce back, win a couple games, continue to be a thorn in the side of the Avalanche. The Avalanche who have an elite offense, not uh, and the Jets that have just an elite defense. And then the final series of the first round, we're just going to catch up on real quick. The Predators and the Canucks. Predators tied up the series in the last game. Philip Forsberg had a goal and an assist. Predators win 4-1 after the Canucks handled them 3-2 in the first game. Predators are putting up a bit of a fight. The Predators are a really solid team. They just do everything good. They're not really elite at anything, but they do everything good. And if they catch you on a bad night, they're going to take advantage. So you need to play your best against the Predators, and that's tough to do in a 7-game series. So hockey playoffs are in full swing. I do highly recommend you guys go check them out if you get the chance. I know there's a lot of sporting events going on, but give some love to the NHL. I promise you'll love it. It is a lot of fun to watch. But anyway, tomorrow is NFL Draft Day. Tomorrow we have a mock draft. Tomorrow we break down quarterbacks. Tomorrow we break down everything you need to know about the NFL Draft. Your one come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll be here going over everything. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in to today's show here on Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I have been your host, Jeremy Lapidus. I cannot wait for the game going on tomorrow, for the draft going on tomorrow. Stick around. Come back tomorrow. We'll be here same place. I will see you. Bye. I wake up to a little bit drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.